I woke up to a chart that looked a little off. Not enough to panic, just enough to pause. Someone in the group chat said it's kinda clean. Like a red day doesn't mean what red day means. There's a thread with a guy who sounds way too sure, saying this is where the real ones endure. And I almost believed it for a second or two, till I watched what the volume started to do. It's always fine, right up until it's not. It's just a dip. Hold the line, this is fine. Stay convicted. At what cost? Now the tone's getting weird, kinda thin, polite. Less we're early and more give it time. Same accounts, same words, just slower replies. Like they're choosing each sentence so it doesn't sound like goodbye. And the anchors on TV got that look they use, where they soften the edges of bad news. Call it rotation, call it needed relief, while it bleeds through the bottom of the screen underneath. You can feel it shift before anyone admits it's just a dip. Hold the line. Just a dip. Hold the line. This is fine. Stay convicted. This is fine. It's just a dip. Hold the line. This is fine. Stay convicted. At what cost?
Oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where it's a beautiful Thursday, August the 13th, and the world's largest casino, aka the old stonk market, is about to be letting us D-gens in about 27 minutes. So, in the better part of the next half hour, my job is to prep you guys up. Break down what's going on in the larger picture. We have a little bit of an update on Trump and Iran and everything happening there. We have some major macroeconomic developments, specifically another inflation report. We just got the PPI report, Producer Price Index. The CPI report came out yesterday at expectation. The PPI report came out this morning, lower than expectations. And then tomorrow we're getting retail sales. So a little bit of a warning there, or I guess a little bit of a prep there. We have a bit of an update of Basent, Japan, what's going on with the yen. Want to talk about that. Individual companies, we're still kind of in earnings season, but it is slowing down. There's a couple major ones to watch, mainly NVIDIA, but beyond that, we have some individual equity updates. I want to talk about SpaceX's recent recovery, trading in the realm of 150, so a really, really nice bounce there. So we're going to chit-chat about that. A little bit of other detailed stat stuff to get into as we prep up for the day. And then, of course, we could do some chart breakdowns. We can look at all the major options positions as the market is opening. Right now, the overall market, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ are both slightly green based on yesterday's close. The SPY a little bit more. Obviously, the golden question is it going to hold? So got a lot to break down, a lot of prep work before that casino lets us in. And then right when the bell does go dingity, ding, 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 that is the perfect opportunity for all of us to forget our prep work and then just start just ripping it exactly on vibe. So I hope you guys are ready for that one. And beyond that, if you guys want to wish me luck, I do have a dentist appointment today, another just routine cleaning. But I hate the dentist, as I am assuming many of you normal people in here also hate the dentist. So no matter how bad your day is, understand that my day is worse. I have to unfortunately go to the dentist. So that's going to be a bit of a bummer. Not looking forward to that, but hopefully, while I'm there, I don't have to focus on how much money I lost today. Hopefully, I can focus on how much money I won today. So maybe that'll get me through it. So we're going to find out. I do appreciate you guys joining me at the crack of dawn. So with that being said, let me switch this up so you can see what's happening over here. Okay, perfect. The SPY, pretty much at the high from yesterday. The Q's not doing as well, but still in the green. Russell actually above the high from yesterday, and Bitcoin still chilling in the lower 60s. So here's a look at the daily chart. We're kind of like awkwardly right up here in this zone where my mouse is. We had a huge pop. We have this flag, and now we've done nothing for basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So maybe day 6, something will get going, but the overall market not moving the most. Trump pivots to economic squeeze of entrenched Iran regime. So as much as we're being told that we won this months ago, we obviously very much did not win this conflict months ago. Do you guys recall that? Did you recall like literally months ago how we were told from President Trump that he's like, oh, it's basically over. It'll be over in like a week. And then here we are months later. It seems like we're always told that like we're pretty much right there, but there's seemingly no end in sight. Hormuz remains blocked. Iran disputes Trump claims as traffic sinks to near 3-month lows. The Persian Gulf Strait Authority said the Strait of Hormuz remains blocked and will not be reopened until Iran's conditions are accepted. This comes after U.S. President Donald Trump said the U.S. had total control over the strait. A top advisor to the IRGC said stateside that the U.S. military is weaker than we perceive. So lots of conflicting information. It's to the point that even Trump is accusing Iran of accepting the terms privately, but not saying them publicly. So that's a weird accusation, but that is apparently the world we live in. Clearly, it has impacts on all of us, including oil. Oil prices drop as investors weigh falling demand against Middle East tension. So oil, when this all started back in March, ripped. And then when tensions were not coming down, it ripped even more. Since then, obviously, you had this period from, I guess, late May to about early July where things were seemingly calming down. They figured out new shipping routes. So there was a couple things. But anyway, oil coming down. And then right here around July 2nd, it said nah, and had a big pop. And then since then, we now have these lower highs and these higher lows. So consolidation. So basically, the oil market is saying, all right, what's actually happening here? Do we need a pop? Are things actually bad? Or are they actually getting resolved and we're going to take out the low? So for me, it's basically as simple as this. Are we going to take out 93 or are we going to take out 74? And until then, I just need to wait. That's not the only thing that's a little crazy right now. Japan's government is said to support faster BOJ rate hikes. So we've been talking a little bit about what's happening in the yen, and unfortunately, this intervention seemingly worked for about 3 days, and since then, it's kind of chilling. So remember, the JPY against the USD was at a 4-decade low, 40-year low, and then bada bing, bada boom, Japan stepped in, the U.S. government stepped in, and they started to buy the yen, pushing it up. We did this because obviously we don't want them selling their treasuries because our whole yield situation is a little bit questionable. But right now, it's maybe holding, maybe not holding. A lot of people prefer to look at it the upside down way, USD to JPY, and a lot of people are looking for it to get above 160. So kind of paying attention to that. But remember, this does have a larger macroeconomic impact, so pay attention to the yen. Wholesale prices were flat in July, below expectations they expected 0.2. So at 8:30 this morning, if you're wondering why the market right here had a little bit of craziness, it popped, it dropped, and now it's recovering. Same thing in the Qs right at 8:30. Pop, big drop, seemed to be a fake out in both directions, and now it is recovering. That's all because of this PPI report. They expected the month-over-month producer price index to be an increase of 0.2, but it came out flat. So just that's good. We did not have an inflation reading below expectations, cooler than expected. So right now, let's call it from 8:35 to this moment, why is the market up? It's seemingly reacting to a cooler, less than expected inflation reading, which is going to be good in terms of monetary policy, especially when you consider what's going on with the yen and oil and the fact that there's a bit of pressure on the Fed to maybe do a rate hike. Well, now that we have an at expectation CPI, a lower than expected PPI, jobs numbers not good, but unemployment is low. Putting it all together, we can see the exact odds in call sheet and also poly market that probably not going to get a rate hike anymore in September. Rewind about 2 weeks, it was more likely than not that we would be getting a rate hike in September. But now with some of the recent larger economic measures coming out, the data drops, it does. For right now, it's around 65, 70% that the rate will stay constant. So I know Trump is saying, hey, we got to cut rates, cut rates, cut rates. That's not going to happen. The question is between cutting rates or raising rates. And at this moment, it is more likely than not that we will stay where we are at the 3.5%. But as quickly as things have changed in the past couple of weeks, they can obviously still change in the upcoming couple of weeks. So be careful with that. Understand that there's no FOMC meeting in August. There's the Jackson Hole Symposium. So a little bit of an update from Kevin Warsh there. No one really knows how he's necessarily going to be handling it. This is his first Jackson Hole Symposium. But the next FOMC meeting is in September, and that's important because between now and then, we're going to be getting more PCE reports, CPI reports, and PPI reports. If you don't know what those are, we're getting a whole bunch of other just jobs data, retail sales, the job numbers in September for the month of August, and a bunch of inflation reports, consumer sentiment reports, Michigan numbers. There's going to still be a lot coming out between now and the next decision from the Fed. So please pay attention to all of that. And then tomorrow, Friday, August 14th, retail sales. So all of this. Treasury yields dip as Wall Street awaits wholesale inflation. So let's see how they're actually doing right now. There is a little bit of a dip. This is the daily chart. Let me throw it to the 30-minute. Yields are coming down a little bit. So let's look at the 20-year bond. It's up a little bit. Okay, so the market is taking this in stride. The market is finally showing a little bit of a breather on the yield bond side, and it's for good reason because inflation is lower than expected. So if we were to go to call sheet, let's see the exact odds of a rate hike. It might even, or the exact odds of, I want to know of it staying flat, a 74 now. So it really jumped on that. Let's go to the past day right here. It took a little bit of a pop, but you can see the generic trend over the past month. Back in early August, it was more likely to get that 25 bips rate hike. But you can see with the recent data drops, it's about a 74% shot that we will stay exactly where we're at. So that's your skinny on the overall situation, diving into some individual equities. We're still in earnings season. We still have earnings next week, albeit things are slowing down. There's a couple things I want to dive into, just finding it kind of interesting. Tariff refunds are here and turbocharging earnings. Apple, Nike, FedEx are just a few companies recovering big sums relatively quickly, and some are passing at least a share on to customers. So tariff refunds are happening. Remember, Trump lost that court case, or the administration lost the court case. And apparently, not only are we seeing a boom in productivity, but maybe right here, it's turbocharging the earnings. So just kind of an interesting thing I'm not seeing too many people talk about, of why the last earnings season was a bit better than expected. And we know that because the market's literally sitting at an all-time high. Individually, private company, but obviously Anthropic, a lot of people talking about Claude, waiting for the IPO, making some big money moves. Anthropic said to do in talks to buy startup Descartes for $6 billion. Descartes makes world models and software that can reduce the cost of training AI by helping chip work more efficiently, which can help Anthropic's existing infrastructure absorb more demand. So literally just kind of, I guess, building their own little fortress here. So Anthropic, like I said, making some big money
Bloomberg
moves.
has also learned that Anthropic, we're switching to AI, is said to be in talks to buy startup Descartes AI for about $6 billion, its largest known acquisition. Now, Descartes' chip efficiency software would reportedly help Anthropic's infrastructure absorb more demand for its AI models. Let's get more from Matt Bloxham, senior analyst at Bloomberg Intelligence. Matt, as always, thank you for being here. Look, the deal is yet to be finalized, but actually it would be a very large acquisition, the largest known acquisition for Anthropic. So why is this company so important to them?
You touched on it with this kind of optimization. So, I mean, Descartes does three things. It creates kind of essentially real-time AI high-quality video rendering. So, imagine if you're trying on a dress in a shop, you can kind of see yourself in super high quality. It creates world models, so virtual models of the real world, which is good for training physical AI, robotics, and things like that. But then the third thing they have is this optimization stack. And this is, I think, really where they see the value, because compute is a scarce resource, and it's also incredibly expensive, and Anthropic's models are the most expensive out there, and companies are getting more sensitive about how much they're spending on AI. And this optimization stack essentially allows the chip manufacturers, the NVIDIAs, those kind of people, to squeeze every last bit of efficiency out of their technology. So I think that's the thing that they're really interested in, and could really quite fundamentally shift Anthropic's appeal to its customers.
And Matt, so Anthropic confidentially filed for this IPO in June.
Yeah.
I mean, do we know valuation? Do we know when it starts trading?
We don't know valuation. There's been some kind of suggestions out there, actually. So I think the Financial Times is reporting something like a $2 to $3 trillion valuation. There aren't many public peers, but if you look at where SpaceX is trading, on 1 year forward, 26 estimates, it's probably around 35 times sales, 2027 around 16. That would give you a spread of probably between 2 to 3 trillion. I think probably the lower end of that's probably more realistic, where you're going to be anchored perhaps a bit below 2 trillion. For me, I think this Descartes deal, if it happens, compared to a $2 trillion valuation, $6 billion is a drop in the ocean. I imagine most of that would be in equity to the founders. So it's like nothing, but actually the value it adds in terms of the fundamental story they can take to investors is huge. A little bit like the Cursor acquisition that SpaceX kind of made through its own IPO. So yeah, I think this is a positive addition to that story.
All right, two things I want to bring up here. Number one, just obviously Anthropic, as I said, making some big money moves, buying a company that's just going to really boost the quality of what Anthropic is doing. Because as Matt said here, they do have some of the most expensive models. So if they can do something in the long run, this is clearly going to pay dividends. And that's exactly why it's a very expensive deal, $6 billion. Question for you. Anthropic, it seems to be maybe IPOing this year, next year. Anthropic is the AI company behind Claude, and then obviously OpenAI is behind ChatGPT. Either of those, both of those, would you guys get involved in the IPO? Would you guys be long-term investors? And I'm not necessarily saying on day one, but maybe sometime in the first couple months, maybe within the first year, would you do a long-term investment in Anthropic, aka Claude? Would you do a long-term investment in OpenAI, which is ChatGPT? If these go live, if we have the exposure to these, do you think that this is going to be the future for the next decade, next 3 decades? Do you think there's going to be big returns on these? Or do you think, it's a little overhyped and you don't think that maybe technology is truly going this way? I kind of want to get a feeling from you guys and see where you're at. Personally, I think it's a good investment. Once again, not necessarily day one, but maybe about like 6 months into it when the IPO craziness calms down. Anthropic, yes. ChatGPT, no, maybe. Sell cash secured puts to enter. I like that, especially if it's hyped up. Matt, trick question. Trex hates Skynet. This is Skynet on steroids, though. Also, secondary thing that I want to say. He talked a little bit about SpaceX. SpaceX, the one that I bought. My apologies. Did you guys just hear me sneeze? I don't know if that got picked up on the mic, but my apologies. Talking about IPOs, I've made my opinion on IPOs very, very clear, and it's just because with a little bit of basic studying on IPOs, they don't go well, especially if the banks do their job. They're just way too overhyped, and you see this all the time where they get hyped up day 1, day 2, day 3, sometime in the first month, they start to crack, and then they start to sell and they create a foundation. And then from there, that's when the game is on and you have a bit more data. You have some highs and lows and some earnings. It's just, you don't know what you don't know when something is a fresh IPO, besides the fact that it's incredibly overhyped. So finally, SpaceX seems to have found its bottom, created a foundation after just a fire sale and a very nice recovery from 106 to 144. So it is above that IPO price at 135. So I said this with Apex. I bought a share on day one. When things settle down, I do think that it's going to do very well in the long run. I was just waiting for more time to pass. So we're getting to that point where I might start adding into long-term portfolio on SpaceX. I want to be clear about that. And I view Anthropic and ChatGPT to be the same. I'll buy a share on day one, just to be able to say I was in it from day one. But in terms of my true core investment, I do think it's appropriate to wait multiple weeks, potentially multiple months, just to wait for the IPO craziness to actually properly calm down. So SpaceX, I'm watching it. I'm looking for maybe a double bottom back down to 120, 110, something like that, and we'll see how it goes. I had a pending order at $75 for the longest time. It doesn't seem like that's going to get filled. It did find nice support at 106, so maybe I'll throw a pending order in at 100, maybe 110, something like that. But if that hits, I will obviously let you guys know. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. It's 100% free. Comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. I give you the earnings, the breakdown of the market, and then also a cheat sheet for all the things you should be paying attention to on that specific day. We already got the PPI, came in cooler than expected, lower than expected. That's why the market's up right now. We also have a 30-year bond auction at 1 p.m. So for any of you who decide to trade the afternoon session, you might want to be paying attention at 1 p.m. Tomorrow morning, we get retail sales before the market opens, and then 30 minutes into the session, we get consumer sentiment. With respect to seasonality, today is leaning bullish. Over the past 27 years, the bulls have won this day 54% of the time, so they have a 4% edge. But what's more impressive is when they win with greater size. So generically, the trend is up. Is it the most seasonally bullish day we've ever seen? No, but the bulls do have a slight edge on the day. So I obviously want you to be well informed of that. How much time do we have? Things are looking good. SPY is knocking on the door of the high from yesterday. Q's nice bounce off the low and the closing value. The question is it going to hold? Let's throw up SpaceX because it's cruising. What other equity do you guys want up? Rum had a crazy day yesterday, gained 9%, and it's holding. So maybe we'll watch these out of the gate. Or are you guys seeing any other early morning craziness? That NVIDIA is actually looking real nice out of the gate. It's trading at 225. Interesting. Maybe we should do some overall chart breakdown. So we're within the realm of the all-time high. Right now, if the market were to open, we'd be trading at 7772. There's negative gamma above, clear positive node at 7800, and there's positive gamma below. Sorry, I misspoke. Negative gamma above, positive gamma below, clear target at a psychological level. This is a bullish setup. Even overnight, we saw put selling and call buying. Like it's a bullish setup, almost as if someone knew that this PPI report was going to be good. So the overnight session suggested bullishness. The options market is right now suggesting bullishness. Obviously, I think it's still prudent to wait for the opening 10, 20, 30 minutes just to see how things shake out. But right now, the setup from a seasonal perspective, from an options perspective, and really from a momentum perspective, a technical perspective, many perspective, the bulls are in control. Huge flagpole, bullish flag, looking for that breakout. The all-time high is 7793. We are currently trading at 7772, so we're 20 points below. There's a very real shot we hit an all-time high today. So overall market looking strong. Obviously, it's the exact same setup on the SPY. They're the same thing. The Qs, it's still never got this downside gap fill, which I'm very surprised of, but it might be making this move up to about roughly 736. The small cap sector is looking to make a gap up to a new all-time high today. The all-time high was achieved yesterday, 703.41. We're opening above that, so literally gapping up to a new all-time high in the small cap sector. Bitcoin has been doing nothing, and it continues to do absolutely nothing. Not really going up, not really going down, literally just going flat. We just had a peek at NVIDIA, the world's biggest company. It's gapping up a little bit, not technically the all-time high, but also not that far away from it. We have a recent high at 232, and we have a recent high at 236. That is the all-time high. So watching for that, trading at 225, showing strength. Nice little double bottom here at 190, bounce, kind of getting this W figure. Looking for that to continue. Like I said, this is the most valuable company in the world, and I'm looking forward to actually test this all-time high, and then we'll revisit it from there. Meta, You guys know that in terms of large tech plays, I think this is one of my favorite medium to long-term investments at this current point, at this valuation. I think it's trading at a dirt cheap multiple. This is one of the major tech plays that has not caught this entire ride. And I think given enough time, Meta will figure out exactly where they fit in this world of AI. And I think they're going to crush. Right now, it hasn't been doing anything, but it's all-time high. It's 800. It's trading at 580. I like these levels, not necessarily as a short-term trade, but I do like these levels as a medium to long-term investment. I said the same thing about Microsoft for the longest time, and then finally this one caught the bid. I was adding as much as I could at 400, below 400, a little bit above. I was adding in this whole zone, and it finally paid, and that ripped. And I'm actually going to continue to hold this as long as I can. I want to go to an all-time high. Rum, kind of doing nothing, going flat, had earnings. At first, no one reacted to it. Then people realized how good the earnings actually were, especially now that it's clearly in the world of an AI infrastructure play with all their data centers, not only the ones that are online, but the ones that are continuing to come online. So Rumble, from a stock perspective, clearly the Wall Street is realizing it's not just a video platform, but it's actually an AI infra play. And I think it's finally starting to wake up to that. SpaceX, we talked about this amazing recovery. Broadcom, actually, it's flat right now in pre-market trading. So waiting to see how this one gets going. To me, it's a similar sun up to NVIDIA. It's the second biggest semiconductor play. So I want to see if it's been putting in these higher lows, and I'm looking for this upside gap fill to 472. Palantir, another one that was doing nothing for a while, had a really good earnings, and it is paying dividends ever since then, exploding higher. AMD, just chilling, not really moving much. I would say in the world of popular semiconductor plays, this one kind of gets the least amount of love, just seemingly has the least amount of hype behind it. Micron trying to get that breakout, getting smacked a little bit this morning, but knocking on the door of like trying to get up here, looking for that break of 1,011. Apple, earnings I thought were fine. The market disagreed with me, and it looks like the market was right. Fake out recovery and getting hit right now. For a brief moment back in late July, Apple did recover to being the most valuable company in the world, and since then has dropped to either 3 or number 4. Tesla is just getting destroyed. I see that there's some commentary that Elon Musk is intentionally doing this to make the merger between Tesla and SpaceX that much easier. I don't know if he's doing that. I think that's a really hard thing to assume. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but overall I'm still a big believer, especially because what Tesla's trying to do in the world of robotics in the future. I still like it as an investment, but right now the active trade has clearly been paying to the downside. SanDisk, it's just like Micron. It's a memory play. It's like Micron, it's just not back above the cloud quite yet. Waiting on that one. Intel, same thing, trying to get going. Amazon, popped up after good earnings to an all-time high. Try to hold, try to flag, but showing a little bit of weakness right now. Google, I guess what goes down must go up, must come back down. Very volatile in Google. I'd be concerned if it breaks 314, looking for it to do a shoulder, head, shoulder, inverse head and shoulders and see if it can get back above this neckline at 375, but ran into this resistance around 375 and got punished. TSM trying to get the breakout. Let's see if it can actually hold. Hut, try to get the breakout twice, got smacked, waiting on that one. Lamb Research trying to break out as we speak, probably a viable one to put on your watch list. It's right in an interesting zone right now. Marvel, same thing. It's trying to break out. There's a lot of these medium-sized AI plays that ripped, got hit, and right now are knocking on the door of a potential recovery, so paying attention to that. ASML, this is one of the ones that I'm crushing in my long-term investment. I loaded up as much as I could on ASML. Back here around 700. I did this roughly a year ago, a year and a half ago, somewhere between 7 and 8. This consolidation, I was putting as much as I possibly could, and it paid off way better than I could have ever thought. My average fill on this is somewhere in the 700. So not really actively trading it, but my long-term portfolio is loving it. Salesforce, very strong recovery. Netflix tried to finally show a little bit of life. Rejection. Maybe is it going to go? And the market said, nah, but I'm waiting. I'm hoping. It is in my long-term account. I just figured this was down way too much to not be getting some, and apparently it just keeps going down. Oracle trying to recover. I think this is funny because Michael Burry just updated the world yesterday that he has a short position on Oracle. And then actually he doubled his short position on NBIS right here, up 34%. And that was literally the day that Michael Burry announced yesterday that he was doubling his short position. So he's in a little bit of pain. Texas Roadhouse hitting an all-time high and actually trying to gap up to another new all-time high. So another one in my long-term account, absolutely crushing it. Started off as just pure love and passion for the restaurant, turned into a joke of an investment, and then that rapidly transformed into one of my best investments of all time. I think I'm in this around 100. I'm up over 100% on this one. Absolutely crazy. CoreWeave had earnings. Let's see if it can hold. Coinbase, nothing. MicroStrategy, nothing. DJT was on a nice recovery, but recently getting hit. And we talked about bonds, silver trying to hold the breakout, gold trying to hold the breakout. Oil coming down a little bit, maybe not going to hold this. Maybe it's going to be a lower high rejection, worthwhile to pay attention to there. So that's your skinny on the situation, which brings us now to 30 seconds out from the real fun, degenerate day trading. A little bit of degen day trading. Let's get ready for this. A quick, let me get the book map. That does not seem right. That seems right. Okay, cool. Just wanted to get you. Ooh, nope, I messed with it again. My apologies.
Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun.
All right, out of the gate, some aggressive selling, but it's not even a full first minute, so let's just give it a breather. And while we are giving it a breather, two things. First of all, shout out to Tradify. They are the partner of today's show. Not only can you get 40% off, but if you bundle 5 together, you can get a better deal, 45% off. Use that code Goonie, Tradify. Hopefully, I will be passing some of those accounts today. It looks like I need to make just over $600, and I'll be able to pass those. So shout out to Tradify. They are the partner. Show them a bit of love. If you choose to buy a Tradify account, use that code Goonie, 40% off, but you can get 45% off if you buy those bundles of 5. So wanted to shout out to them. And if you want to trade with me, GoonieTrading.com. If you have any questions about what trading with me is like, what the education is like, what the stats are like, what you get in this community, use this contact page. And depending on the mood I'm in, maybe if you ask nicely, I'll give you a 1-month free coupon. But I would highly recommend paying attention to how I'm trading that day. And if I happen to be losing, probably not the best time to ask me. If I happen to win that day and I'm seemingly in a good mood, that's probably the best time to ask me for the freebie coupon. So do a little bit of social engineering, try to read my mood, try to understand, is Matt in a good mood? Is Matt in a bad mood? So not only is that useful to get what you want from me, but I honestly think that's a good life tip. I honestly think more people need to think about life that way of if you're about to ask people for something, are they in a good mood? Are they in a bad mood? Is there maybe a social engineering way that you can optimize on the situation? So if you want to trade with me, check out Goonie Trading. If you have questions, use the contact page. And if you want to do a free month, you could ask. I'm not going to, I don't know. Matt, are you in a good mood? I'll tell you better. I'll tell you after I do the first couple of trades here. I'll let you know after that. Right now, momentum was bullish on the 5, the 10, the 30 to get going out of the gate. The 1 minute is currently testing, so let's watch that. The Nasdaq is actually breaking down on the 1 minute. It's testing on the 5 and it's testing on the 10. So the Nasdaq is actually kind of dragging the market down. You can see on a relative basis that the Nasdaq is actually closer to going red, while the SPY actually has some distance to go. The SPY is currently up 0.28, while the Qs are up half that. So on a relative basis, the NASDAQ is weaker, at least for the first 2 to 3 minutes of trading. SpaceX and NVIDIA are looking decent. I saw you guys commenting Dell. What's going on with Dell? Dell is up 4%. Dell breakout. Is that an all-time high? It is. Okay. I don't chase all-time highs, but if you've been in Dell, huge pop consolidation, maybe potentially getting going again. I mean, it's not my style, but I know there's many traders who would trade this. They would say accumulation, breakout, play it, risk the recent low, roughly around 350, 360, and see if it can rip. That's a big one to risk, but I get it. It's a ripper. It gaps up. accumulation, and maybe it gets going again. So I understand the play. It's not necessarily for me. I'm not against it. It's just not necessarily my style, but it is looking pretty good. Rum's up another 3.5%, a rocket ship after those pretty high quality earnings. If you missed the earnings on Rumble, it's up there. I had the opportunity to interview the CEO right after the earnings. So if you want some insights of what's happening, what's not happening, maybe check that out. Obviously, specialty shout out to everyone on Rumble there. SPY piercing the all-time high from yesterday and potentially setting us up for piercing the high from yesterday, potentially setting us up for a test of the all-time high, which put this on your chart 7793.68. That is the all-time high. We hit it on Wednesday, August the 5th. And today that is very much in the cards. It's roughly right where my cursor is. So we have a big positioning at 775. You can see that right here. A little bit of positive gamma could get rejected. If not, I'd be looking for the push to 790 and then 7800. And that's this positive gamma node. So negative gamma above, positive gamma below, huge node at 7750. I would say that becomes dangerous for the bull camp if we crack 7750. But for right now, I would assume that it's going to act as support and the market is actually popping. Yeah, the Qs are finally getting going. Dell's taking a little bit of a hit. SpaceX is trying to get going. NVIDIA, RUM, whereas Broadcom's actually a little red, but it's trying to recover. RUM's having a nice push. Maybe we're going to see $8 on that. One of the bigger gainers on my watch list today. Netflix is actually catching a bid. The abnormal Netflix bid. You don't see that too often. Netflix up 2.8%. CoreWeave is up 3.6%. CoreWeave adding to its gains. Where did SpaceX go? SpaceX is actually red right now. Okay. CoreWeave making some moves. All right. I just want to make sure we're not missing any big movers. The SPY, the Qs, moving for sure. Moving. We are on NQ coming up to this high from yesterday. So we already took out the pre-market high at 924. The next one is not only the high from yesterday, but the psychological level at 30,000. So if you are riding this and you have the ability to scale out, personally, if I had a position, I'd be scaling out some at 30,000 without a doubt. Maybe some, maybe all, but it's technical resistance. It's roughly aligning with the all-time high on SPX. Roughly, I guess we have about 13 more points to go over there. Let me go to the 1 minute. Dude, this is just shooting up. Look at this 1 minute opening for SPX. Green. Every minute. It's just someone is trading with size. I bet if we bring up the options flow, like it must just be a straight line up because that is almost too perfect. Someone is doing something with size. Not as much as I thought. It's trending up. I just thought the numbers would be bigger. Okay, the Mag 7 is clearly trending up, and the Nasdaq is clearly trending up. All right, so options flow thus far up. Stock market straight up. The Qs just took out the high. Dude, the Qs are ripping. It just exploded past 30,000. Holy cow. Holy cow. Look at that. I mean, you could see it on Bookmap here above my head. There was a wall at 30,000, and I guess the market just did not give a shit about that. Wow. It just ripped through those sellers. All right. Market open craziness. Market open craziness, folks. We, I guess, just bounced right off this 5 minute test, this 10-minute test, this 30-minute test, and it was a rocket. 1 minute tested, 5 tested, 10 didn't even really test, just a rocket, dude. Look at this, a little bit of selling rate, and then boom, just every minute was green. First 2 minutes red, every minute was green. What? Nasdaq kind of chilling now. The Nasdaq SPY kind of going flat now as well. Interesting. I wonder how deep this pullback will be. Will it just be a little guy, big guy? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Robinhood is up 5%. To be completely honest, Robinhood is pissing me off. Like morally, I think what they're doing is wrong. They're getting a lot of Gen Z. They just had some articles about it. They're getting a lot of Gen Z kids to basically be betting their retirement accounts on sports bets and event bets now that they're kind of hooked up with it's either Kohrs or Polymarket. I don't know. And I want to be clear. I'm a degen. I am not some sort of prude, financial prude saying you shouldn't be betting money. I am fine with betting. I am fine with trading. I'm fine with all of it. But still, there should be some sort of delineation between your long-term financial health, where you should just be in high-quality stocks and you let them sit, and actual fucking betting. Like, I think what Robinhood is doing is going to be financially harmful to a lot of people. I really do. And like, I would actually be fine with it if they spun it off as another app. If it was Robinhood, whatever, instead of Robinhood for stocks, options, and futures, if there was Robinhood, whatever, gambling, Robinhood bets. And if they wanted to do it as a separate app, I'm completely cool with it. My big gripe, and like I said, it's more of a moral issue, especially for kids who just don't know what the fuck they're doing. The fact that it's all in one place and they could be betting with their long-term investment money on this, it's dangerous. I think it's incredibly dangerous. And like I said, I'm not a prude about it. I just think spin it off as a different app, and then it'll help people in their mind understand, okay, one of these is my long-term financial health and retirement, and the other one is where I put like degen money in. Are you sure Gen Z millennials are sports bettors? Yeah, I'm not saying that one is sports bettors and not. I'm saying who the app is currently attracting to make sports bets with their long-term account. It's focusing on Gen Z. That's what Wealth Simple did. Separate app for predictive markets. I'm cool with that. Make it a separate app. And if people want to sign up for both, but especially for people who just either don't have self-control or they don't know what they're doing or not, I think it's incredibly immoral. And I think it's going to be financially harmful to a lot of people. I do. But whatever. I guess I'm not their mom. So, and clearly regulators don't have an issue with it. Not going to lie, at least they don't lock me out for closing my sports bets. But that's not them. That's just Kohrs or Polymarket. Like, they're just partnering up with them. They're not running the sports book. So whether they do or don't lock you out, that has nothing to do with Robinhood. They just have a partnership with Kohrs or Polymarket, which if they do that, just go use Kohrs and Polymarket if that's what you want to use. And then in your mind, when you're on that account, you know that you're doing your degen sports betting or event-based betting or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I really do think that there needs, for long-term investing, I think there needs to be a very important delineation. I have accounts where I do dumb shit and I keep the dumb shit in those accounts. And then I have my long-term accounts where it's actually rather basic. When I have high-quality stocks like Microsoft and I can buy them on a dip, I buy them on a dip and then I forget about it and I move on with my life. But to have that temptation to take your long-term accounts and bet it on March Madness, it's going to end poorly for quite a few people. AI overview. Millennials and Gen Z together make up 75% market research insights show that millennials historically edge out Gen Z in overall platform usage. Yeah, because think of the age. Gen Z is just getting to the age now where they have jobs, they have money, they can invest in the market. That's more of like just an age thing. You're not really comparing apples to apples. What are the pros and cons of having multiple brokerage accounts? I guess the cons would be memorizing your passwords to multiple brokerage accounts. That's the only con I could come up with. But the pros are you then, when you're in that brokerage account, you specifically know what you are doing in that brokerage account. You're mentally setting yourself up of like brokerage account A is where you do whatever, your long-term investing, and you're wiring your brain to behave properly with that account. The commingling of this stuff can get incredibly dangerous because what you do is like you're there with your long-term account, but you're like, you know what? Like, I want to do a quick little trade here. And then all of a sudden, you're starting to do things in your long-term account that you shouldn't necessarily be doing. And for those times that you're not disciplined and you deviate from the plan, I truly hope it doesn't bite you. I'm not rooting against anyone, but my argument is maybe let's just not tempt people who maybe don't have that self-control. I'm by no means against sports betting. I do it all the time. I'm not against event betting. I do it all the time. I'm not against long-term investing. I'm not against day trading. I'm not against any of it. But I think certain people need to have that delineation. So in terms of financial health, I don't think it's appropriate to be fucking with long-term investing. I just don't. No, they aren't like that. The last of the Gen Z are not apples to apples. Okay, this is the oldest Gen Z is 29, the youngest is 14. Yeah, but then you're looking at all the millennials, all of which are at that age to invest and have jobs. Like the entire millennial age group is of the appropriate age to have a career and be in the market. Gen Z half is and half isn't. So once again, it's not an apples to apples comparison. It just isn't. That's poor statistics or a mathematical understanding on your part. Another big one is when you get a large account, they're covered under different insurance as far as limits go, FDIC and SIPIC. Yeah. You're covered depending on the size, up to like $500,000 or something like that. So that's another way. If you delineate, you're protected. You could protect more of your total money by having multiple accounts. Exactly my point. The entire millennial population is more likely to be betting simply based on numbers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You and I are saying the same thing. But what's interesting is now that Gen Z is getting older, they are trending in a way to be very similar to millennials. As now that the data is finally coming out about Gen Z, it seems as if it's going to be reciprocal. In fact, it might even be worse. The current trend suggests they actually might be outpacing millennials in terms of degenerate bets. That's an interesting pop. Wow. We just bounced right off the high from yesterday. I guess we're going for that all-time high. I have the alert set, but I think we're going to be seeing a new all-time high. What a move here. What a move that was. Jesus. What a move. What a move. Not a bad buy on this breakout. 30,018. You're risking 95. So you have about 25 points of risk. Maybe you could reload either at RTH VWAP or 50% of the range. But if you took that, I don't necessarily like the chase here. I don't like the chase here at all. Obviously, if you just chase, you're still up 20 points. But in general, if you continually chase as a trader, whether breakouts or breakdowns, eventually you're going to get clocked. That's just how life goes. But I don't mind. The only thing I don't like about this trade is it's still a little bit early, but some people don't have that similar rule to me. I know some of you are trading with right at market open. So if you're a person who trades just whenever, structurally, pop, pull back, we finally have a higher low. We're showing some strength. Nice entry at 18. Your risk is 94. If you're wrong, risking 25 points. And obviously your stop is now at break even, and maybe you skill out a little bit at 100. I can see on Bookmap above my head, we're running into a bit of a wall here. Interesting. All right. Well, that was quite the pop. I guess if you took that, your day is already done. 420,000 subs. Nice. Yeah, dude, we've been frozen at 420 forever. And honestly, if you're going to get frozen at a sub count, 420,000 is hilarious. It is a funny number to get frozen at. So I appreciate you guys for noticing that, for noticing all that hard work that we put into it. You know what I don't appreciate you guys for is not telling me that the new MFFs, I couldn't upgrade these yesterday, even though I hit the profit goal 53, 53, 53, 53, 53. I didn't realize, so I kept upgrading it and said, nope, you didn't hit the consistency. And I was like, oh, okay, it's just because my numbers are up because I 50% consistency, 50% consistency. whatever, I'll just wait for the numbers to update. So I wait for the market to close, try to update it, and it says, no, you still violated the consistency rule. I was like, what the fuck is the consistency? I made 1,500. I didn't realize the new MFF accounts have a 30% consistency. If you do the new end of day drawdown accounts, it's 30% consistency, which means I need now to grow these to 55,000 to not violate the consistency. So even though I already hit the established profit target, I need to grow these by another 2K just to, I guess, pass these tests, which I did not realize was the new rule. I didn't realize the consistency dropped from 50% to 30% on the new account types on MFF. So if you're using MFF, public service announcement, the consistency is different. You ignored Rumble Chat when we told you yesterday. I didn't ignore it. I just didn't see it. I'm sorry. Don't take it so personally. Don't take it so personally, brother. I just didn't see it. I wish I knew it. You guys should have yelled louder. That's on you. All right. Pop, higher low, rip. Exploding past yesterday's high, exploding past that high. Jesus. Wow. Crazy. I guess the only thing to really draw on the chart right now is this little zone. We are moving and grooving like no other. Jesus. All right. This is the only zone I have as of now. That's the only zone that we kind of stopped in. Other than that, we ripped. Here's our one zone, and we ripped again. So we'll just draw that for now. Kind of see if we have maybe a little bit of a retest in here. Maybe a dip buy opportunity somewhere between 30,050, 30,025, something like that. S&P 500 is not trending the way you think it would. Even though everything's ripping, the SPY popped, gave it back, tried to recover, getting hit again. On the flip side, the Mag 7 popped, and now it's just going flat. And looking at the NASDAQ, we are just trending up. We are about to be running into this positive gamma node. I think we just almost hit an all-time high. We're about to hit an all-time high. It is 93.68. We have a little bit to go. Let's 90. We're about to tag the all-time high, 68. Right there. I'll make it. What color do you want? Nice and green. Here, we'll throw up the 15-second chart. So this green line right above is the all-time high in the S&P 500. Very, very real shot of making a new high today. And maybe there's follow through. I would be hesitant past 800 just because I'm seeing a very, very large positive gamma node there. Somewhere between 8, maybe even 810, maybe a little. I'm just watching this zone because we're running at a negative gamma. So we had negative gamma helping us all the way up from 7760 to basically here 7795. Then we run into a little bit, but if it can somehow break through that, if there's enough enthusiastic bullishness, we could be talking about 7825, 7830 today, somewhere up here. So I'm curious how the market's going to react. Will there be enough enthusiasm, or will this be one of the ones where, okay, there's profit taking right at the all-time high, and then that's it? So kind of a big if-then statement. If there's follow-through, I'd be looking for 800, 810, something like that, which isn't that far, but it's just what the levels are. And then positive gamma, and then maybe we talk about 25 or 30. However, on the flip side, it could just get knocked at any of these levels. And then if there's enough profit taking, because remember, the S&P 500 has weird direction. As much as the market's been rocketing like higher and higher and higher, the options flow is not suggesting that. Even the Mag 7, well, no, the Mag 7's going again. It went flat, but it's picking up. NASDAQ's going up as well. But the S&P 500 not fully agreeing with this move. You would think that people are like FOMOing in and ripping calls, and they're just not. They're actually kind of like awkwardly flat. So we'll wait to see how this does or doesn't update. But ooh, I mean, we got close here. We got really, really close. I wonder if we just ran into a wall. I wonder if we just ran into a wall. Rum is having another rocket day. Yeah, finally people are understanding what its earnings actually mean. Rum up another 8%. Wow, Rum's going. Pushing. This is what happens. It was a really delayed reaction to the earnings, but I kind of sat there in disbelief that the stock was basically untraded after its earnings. So it's nice to see it. I mean, popping from 6 now, it's up to 820. It's going. What's the daily on Rum? Look at that rocket ship. 871 would be a technical breakout. We're trading at 821, and then from there, I'm looking at 1050. Have you tried single stock futures yet? Not yet. Not against them at all. Would be happy to trade them. Just have not tried. I heard that the liquidity was kind of low at the moment. Rum to 17, that'd be awesome. I'm here for it. Reset, rebuild chart. Is it going again? Is it getting this pop? Is this just another, are we forming a, I think we just tagged the all-time high. We did. All right. You just witnessed history, folks. You just witnessed history. Dingity, ding, ding, ding. New all-time high. Congrats to everyone who played. That probably means I should get the fuck out of my puts. I'm going to give them a second, but I had some puts just for the downside gap fill. I told you guys overall I was very bullish. I just thought there was like a nice little technical chart play there. And I was wrong on that one, clearly. Clearly. Are we going to get follow through on this? Here, let's bring this over here. Let's look at the order flow. Not too much hitting the charts quite yet. Little bit of a buying absorbed there. Little bit. We've been riding this pretty decently. Oh, what else do we have going on? Point of control is all the way down here, sub 29.9. We have some interesting nodes. Whatever the hell this is. It's just skipped over that. What is this? 57. It's the lowest traded one. 98, 13. Some of these are crazy low. 80. We're building some of the structure up here up top. Just kind of watching this as more trades are battling it out. Can it get on top of these? Kind of running into this. I actually think a really interesting buy area is somewhere between 30,025 and 30,040, somewhere in this zone, because you have some protection at 30,000. If you're wrong, you can cut it and maybe even then play it short, because we worked through that. Like this delta is bullish, but it's pretty thin over here. Look at the volume. Look at the delta. This zone between 900. This 100-point rip was just a straight up rip. You can see the wall we're running into right now at 52. Yeah. Running in right here to this wall. Having a bit of an issue. Lots of buying being absorbed. But we'll see. I really don't. It's getting above. It's fighting. It's trying to get above. Let's be a little bit of a double top. You can see on Bookmap 55, 62. We have some walls, but hey, walls are meant to be broken. Walls are meant to be broken. Jesus. I mean, what is this daily chart? Yeah. All right. I need a cut. Hang on. Let me message everyone in the Discord that I'm cutting those puts. And then let's actually cut the position. Just my risk is being hit. My risk was the all-time high. I was going to try to give it a second to see if it actually can get rejected, and it did not. So risk is hit. What do you do when your risk is hit? You stay disciplined and follow your plan and get the fuck out. Save myself a couple $1,000s rather than letting these expire worthless. New all-time high. So whatever the intraday high is the new record high, folks. All right, let me make sure that these orders went through. Let's see. Let's cut these. Sell to close. Did the order go through? Yes, it did. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure my order was filled once again. Well, whether you guys were on stream here or in Discord, I tagged everyone in Discord, but also I am just cutting the puts. I obviously have the calls that I'm keeping. 10 a.m. reversal, maybe. And I might play that intraday, but obviously that what the puts were not a day trade. That was like a swing position, and just the way I'm looking at the daily chart, the way this is setting up, I don't want to be in it. I got into it on the 6th because this was the setup that I saw. We rip, we start to crack. I see a downside gap fill. I was trying to play that. The next day, okay, I mean, my risk was the all-time high, but then I just kind of got theta fucked. And then I was like, okay, like I have a shot on the 11th. It's coming right back. I added to the position a little bit, and then today just hit my risk. So just sticking to my plan, but this setup was, even though this is looking bullish, I was like, oh, downside gap fill. And even here, okay, clearly maybe we're breaking down below this cloud, like still looking at it. But nope, just I guess the gap fill is going to stay there for a bit. So this was once again a swing play. Today could clearly get rejected. But even if it does or doesn't, I still don't want to be in those puts anymore because of just the thesis for the trade is no longer. Obviously, if we run into one of these walls here, I might do some, I guess I could do all my futures day trades and whatnot. So it's not like all of a sudden I don't think the bear case can't play out. It totally could, especially as you're running into resistance. But the reason for being in those puts is no longer true. So I have to get out of those puts. Maybe I get into a different put position for a different time frame for a different reasoning. But the base reasoning for those, it's just, if your thesis is proven wrong, you got to get out. There's nothing else to do it. There's nothing else to do. All right, we're at 800. And this is straight up. 810, 820, 830. Okay, so there's interesting structuring at every 10 points from here. 800, 810, 820. So that's a bit annoying, but it just is what it is. It's a bit annoying to play. We don't need that. Whatever the high is, you guys know. So we're kind of watching literally every 10-point rung there's a large player at. So we're kind of getting into a messy area, potentially a choppy area. What's going on, Piper? Yep, you're here for the all-time high. Thank you for that. Thank you for stopping by, saying hi on the show. Dude, it's just ripping straight up. Rumble's still going up 8.9%. Oddly enough, SpaceX is the only red one on the day. CoreWeave's up decently, not moving the most right now. MRVL is getting a nice push. MRVL. Let's go to the daily chart on some of this stuff. NVIDIA, breakout, Meta. Rum's looking good. SpaceX, Avago, Palantir, AMD, Is Micron going to get going again? Intel is knocking on the door of maybe something. TSM is knocking on the door. All right. How do I want to play some of these? What are the September monthlies? Are they the 18th or the 25th? I think it's the 18th. It's the third Friday. It's the third Friday. Third Friday. Oh, brother. 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 Yeah. Interesting. Lamb research. Hut. Okay, how do we want to do this? What was the one that Burry is doubling down on? Oh, I missed that one. Nibius is going. Amazon, Intel. Intel, that's interesting. Maybe breaking out. AMD, Palantir's a ship that's left. Netflix is trying to break out. Is Netflix actually going to make a move here for once in its life? Oracle, that's another one that Burry shorted, and he's not looking so hot for him. Intel. Interesting move. Intel maybe getting going. Apple, not so much. I keep coming back to Intel. It is interesting. It's intriguing. It's intriguing. Oracle? Really? Netflix. Netflix. Is this, folks, is this actually the opportunity to play Netflix? Oh, do I want to play Netflix? Like, is this a crazy person move? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Is it crazy to play Netflix right now? I mean, it's been beaten up for so long. I think I got to do it. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if my order actually went through. Did it go through? Orders pending. Piper says this is a move. So it's the move. Piper says this is the appropriate move. So we'll see if she knows what she's talking about. I mean, even in a downtrend, it still went from 75 to 108. Even if it's not really fully changing course, it does have the characteristic of maybe sometimes getting really nice pops. It does. It does. All right, I am posting in the Discord. Market's flat. There's a clear wall above my head at 190. Market's spies chilling for a little bit. Q's obviously ran into a bit of an issue. What do we have here? What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Not the most opportunity to get involved. We had one choppy-ish zone running into a bit of a wall here, but even if it breaks down, like, is it even worth it? 160 to 140. Maybe it gets more interesting if it breaks this 120 level. On a snap of 120, then that's when we could be seeing the 20 to 40 level I talked about before, but it feels presumptive. I mean, right above my head, someone is trying to sell pretty hard at 190 and then again at 200. And that's happening as we're running into the next wall at 810. I mean, 810, 820, 830, every 10 point. It's just getting choppy up here. Choppy, choppy, choppy. It sucks on days like this where the play was to be a degenerate and chase it. So it kind of instills the wrong lesson, because then you think, like, the most money made today was definitely chasing it on this little hiccup at 945. And it wasn't the worst reasoning ever. Your argument would basically bounce off the previous day's high. Your risk wasn't bad. It's still a bit chasey. It worked well. I'm not sure. I'm not necessarily sure I love that chase, but it did pay bigly today. It paid very nice today. It's 10:10. This is kind of the zone where I like to start trading right past the 10 a.m. hour. So I'm kind of watching this. I'm not the biggest fan of chasing at these highs. I don't want to go against trend. We're running into this wall at 200. Yeah, I can't chase it here. SPX is coming up. It's right above 800. It's at 805. We know there's wall at 810, 820, 830. But it just might be one of those runaway days. Might just be one of those runaway days, folks. Golly. Look at this. Yeah, buy wall. Sellers absorbed. Someone bought it pretty strongly in the low 160s, and since then it ripped. Big resting order to buy. That might have been a short getting knocked out right here. They might have been shorting right above the high, and then they just got smashed. It's above 200. It's holding. This is crazy. This is NQ on the chart. If you're just joining in right now, I got out of some of my swing positions. I was trying to play the downside gap fill. It just didn't work, so stuck to the plan, cut it. And then I saw some interesting equity plays that I got some calls on, and that's posted in the Discord. For the futures trades, I just haven't done anything. I've been attempting to be patient and be a more disciplined trader than I've been ever since my return from paternity leave. And I was trying to wait for the turn of the 10 a.m. hour. I mean, like in hindsight, this looks so obvious of chasing at 176. You're up 25 points. Great. You have it. But like, I just don't know if I can necessarily bring myself to do that type of trading. Like it just doesn't, it feels good when it works and you're like, oh, great, I'm going to do that all the time. But there's a lot of times it doesn't. Rum is ripping up 11.6%. Wow. Really, really delayed reaction to earnings, but that's incredible. Wow, 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 wow. No new news on rum. Just, I guess the market 2 days later decided how good their earnings were. This is nuts. Mate, biggest day ever for me. Long from 30,020 lobster rolls. Congrats, man. Wow, that's a trade. That is quite the trade. Yeah, we just have this stacked area. And then just another one. Just these, like, just these large chop zones. Not much to do. I can't bring myself to chase it. I can't bring myself to short it. I just got to wait. I got to be more patient for this setup, for something to happen. Maybe if we dip in here and it shows strength, I'll take advantage of it. I'd want it to clearly be like bouncing, but I'm not going to chase it all the way up here when I might be able to wait and save myself 50, 60 points on a fill. And if it just keeps going, hey, sometimes you miss the trades. Sometimes you just miss them. Too scared to chase, but I need another 100 to secure a loose payout today. Guess I'll wait until lunch or something. I would definitely wait. You don't want to be 100 away from getting a payout and then do something silly that you know you shouldn't be doing. I would highly recommend waiting. Bro, short the shit out of it. You know, just because you said it, I might now. I mean, it's not crazy here if this fails to have a short, like a 25-point short down. There was a flow alert that popped on the SPY. The Mag 7's continuing to climb. The Nasdaq's continuing to climb. We might be cutting through this positive gamma right here. You have 810, which is where we're at. You have 820. You have 830. It could keep going. It's just going to be the way we went through this very quickly. Now, because of option structuring, it's going to slow down. So it could battle to 10. It could battle to 20. It could battle to 30. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm really digging deep here and trying to be disciplined and not just randomly chase shit. I'm trying to dig deep into my soul. Government selling bonds today at noon. No, there's a 30-year bond auction at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what time zone you're in, but the 30-year bond auction, the 30s, the 20s, and the 10s are pretty much always at 1 p.m. Eastern. Once in a while, there's like a holiday thing that might mix it up. But most of the time, 99% of the time, those ones are at 1 p.m. The smaller ones, the shorter duration ones, are sometimes in the morning around 11 a.m. Lit an account run down 3K over $100 before last week. That was obviously super tilted. Trying to not do that again for another couple months. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I've been it. I've done it. You feel dumb. You feel like the dumbest person on the planet when that type of stuff happens. But we've all been there. And if you haven't been there, you just haven't been trading enough. You haven't been through it enough in the Nasdaqistan. Rumble's looking good. LRCX, TSM, Google's climbing. SpaceX, odd man out. Rumble, best gainer of the day that I'm paying attention to. Meta popped and held. Huh. And now we really are just grinding sideways. Look at that. Look at these weird periods. Expanse, sideways, expanse, sideways, small expanse, sideways, small. Like it's just 3 different shelves. Like I'm going to have to draw another one here. Pop up a little bit, flat. Pop up a little bit, flat. Pop up a little bit, flat. Is this, I mean, NASDAQ is high. Mag 7 is high. This could be going. Oh, what would even my reasonable risk be? My reasonable risk watching this, buyers got absorbed. Someone tried to break it out. There is protection here. Sellers absorbed. Buy wall. Someone's protecting 200, but then it got rejected at 215. Decisions, decisions, decisions. All about decisions. Some sellers were up there at 40, right back to 200. What's going on? What's going on? There was this resting buy order here at 200. The EMAs are so, I mean, we're sky high above the VWAPs. It's just a strong trend day. My Wall Street Bets brain is saying stairs up, elevator down. Yeah, but that's fair. But it feels like we've taken a rocket ship up on this particular setup. We do have this choppiness. Can it hold this? What is this node? This node 156. Wouldn't mind buying at 150. Little 10 moving average potential bounce. Does it recapture 200 or does it get rejected? What is this zone? Can we find an opportunity? If we really think it's going to keep going, you have that shot up to 830. Dipping back into this zone. So what was resistance might turn into support. Maybe. Maybe. We pop, chop, dip into it.
Order
All right,
filled.
I'm going to take a stab and just see if this is the one support dip buy. What am I doing? I'm watching this. I'm looking for the break. So these buyers got absorbed at 2014. I want to see if we can get past that, which is also then the intraday high. Let's zoom in here. The fill was a bit late. I wanted it at 200. How do I want to play this? I could either play it super tight, or if I really think we're going to have this expanse day, I could give it a bit more room. Maybe I play the first one tight, because then if it's a bigger dip, maybe I could get that fill at 100, save myself 100 points, risk about 20-ish points right here. I would love to lock in this first one, though. What was this high? No, I don't like 12. What did I say? Let's go to keen on this first one. And we'll go to 50. I'm looking at the book map right up here. I see some sellers at 22. I'm front running the $20 level. I'm just front running it by a point. All right, this is actually kind of annoying to have today. We're so far from the VWAPs, it's kind of like distorting the chart. All right, if I can lock this one in. Come on, lock in the first one. Lock it in. Lock it in. Lock it in. Damn, when we hit 16, am I getting smacked? What do we get up to? 17. We got right up to that high. I'm still feeling good about it. I like that bounce. Come on. What's this node? Seems like there's some reaction to this higher trade node at 206. So if it holds 206, I'm feeling decent. And then from there, it's an open range breakout. Clear skies ahead. Clear skies ahead. We'll be patient with it. We have all day. We have the ability to be patient sometimes. Sometimes. So that order's in. You guys see I'm trying to get the fill at 19, which got close. I'm going to leave that at 159 until I might cut it early on this break of 85. I don't want to get randomly wicked. Don't want to get, yeah, we're running into, another shelf here. All these wicks. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. At the time that I did that, there was actually nothing there. That had to be market orders. The pending orders I saw were at 22. The pending orders I saw were at 22. So I was actually front running it by 3 points, but this drop, buyers are stepping in at 201. Point of control is now 206. I think this is fine. I think this is fine. We're not sweating it. We're not sweating it. You're not sweating it until you are. You're not sweating it until you are. How much money did I need to make on these? Like 600 or something like that? Shit. Uh-oh, it just keeps wicking it. Just keeps wicking it. Where are we at? Oh, a little bit of a problem. It just keeps getting absorbed right there. That was a lot of aggressive buying that as of now there's not follow through. Hopefully there is quickly, because also the selling out of was like it's just quickly getting absorbed on both sides. The aggressive selling is getting smacked. The aggressive buying is also getting smacked. It's just the market's found a pretty nice equilibrium that it seems content to sit at, and I would feel better about sitting at it if I locked in one of them, because then whatever, I've secured some, the other one could be moved to break even or a closer risk level, and you're just playing the game on easy mode. But damn, this is taking a lot of patience. 17, a lot of patience. Just caught up in sideways chop. I'm on the right side of momentum in terms of price. I'm on the right side of momentum in terms of options flow. And SPX does still have some potential distance to go. It got the 810, looking at 820, 830. Mag 7's turning a little bit, but overall it is up. NASDAQ is straight up. S&P 500 is now straight up. So I think this is a patience play. I think it'll hit. Meta's taking a bit of a hit. Rumble's actually looking good still. I like that it's holding. Broadcom, Palantir, AMD, Micron. Micron might be going soon, 942. I wonder if this is going to make a move in the next week or two up to like 1,000. Dude, we're just watching this paint dry. Look at this. Come on, give me my fill.
Order filled.
There we go. Locked in one. Moving the risk up. I'm doing the math on Tradeify. Tradeify, I could pass these today if I get to 53, these top 5. Which is how much more? I'm kind of like just awkwardly watching it. I see sellers at 40 and I see sellers at 53. So I guess I put mine arbitrarily at 50. If it's a hard rejection at 40, I should probably put my stop to break even. Maybe I could get lucky with a breakout and front run this level at 53 and get this fill at 50. Do I just want to go break even now? I would love to pass these. I need like 150 more bucks. That actually might be the 40 level. Trying to update this quickly. Just the Tradeify accounts, because I think they're going to be at their profit target. All right, so I'm updating the Tradeifys to this level here. I see 117 contracts to be sold at 40. So I'm going to do that just in case it gets rejected, because I think that should be enough profit. Maybe not, though. It might be off by a little bit. Looks like we're going to find out relatively soon. Other than that, I'm leaving the other ones at 50. Actually, I'm going to lower that to 49. Did I just mess up this copier? Hang on, let me double check something. It did move it back to 49. Shoot. So it needs a little bit. I'll just leave it at 49. Let's see if it hits. Let's see if the trade's a good trade or not. Let's see if the trade is a good trade. Come on. I'm almost at 53. Trying to pass these. Let's go. Let's go. Go for it. What did we just hit? 48. Dude, if I'm off by a point. If I'm off by a point on this one, you're going to see someone rage quit pretty fucking hard. Come on. It hit 49. It just didn't give me my fill.
Order filled.
There we go. All right. Oh, this one's off by a couple bucks. Shit. Okay, so this account's good. Locked in 600 on that trade, off by a little bit. I guess if I went to 50, it would have been fine, but this one's off by 11. This one's off by 12. This one's off by 11. All right, so 2 of them are passed, and 3 of them have 12 bucks to go. All right, let's play the dangerous game of trying to scalp it. Let's play a very, very dangerous game, folks. You're about to see me either be very happy or very sad. 794 and then 048. All right, I'm setting up the trade copier 505. Okay, 505. Okay. We're about to be playing a stupidly dangerous game to try to get this. Do we think we just rip it long or short to pass these? I need $12. I need $12 and I don't know what to do.
Order filled. Order filled.
Did that work? Oh, it worked. That was really fast, but 53, 53, 53, 53, 53. So past every single one of these. Nice, 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 nice. I went long right there. Long. I just saw this double wick. I was going to do it earlier, but long, locked it in. Nice. That was super fast. So pass that one, pass that one, pass that one, pass that one, pass that one. So we passed all 5 of the Tradeify. And hey, shout out to Tradeify. They are the partner of today's show. 40% off. But if you buy the bundle of 5 with code Goonie, you'll actually get 45% off, which means you can get each account for less than $100. But let's did it update? How quickly does it update? Can I upgrade these accounts? Not yet. So when those trades load, oh wait, I have a consistency issue. Like barely. So does that mean I need to trade on a micro? I need to trade on a micro. And 505 is the leader. Yeah, I'm like barely over on. Wait a second. That doesn't make sense. How much money do I actually need? It shows that I hit the profit target. But what was my biggest gainer? It was 45. So what do I actually need? Oh, I need to go up to 114 apparently. Because of this, the extra. I thought it was 1200, but I guess I made 45. So looks like I need to actually make a little bit more money, unfortunately. Looks like I need to make a little bit more money. This is where it gets dangerous, team. This is where it gets stupidly dangerous. Just that little final trade right where you're at the levels you need. I mean, I don't even know which way I would do this. How much money did I need? I think I needed like $100. This feels dangerous. This feels, there's buyers right here above my head. Can I play this level? 250. Oh, so if I do a 10-point trade, I should definitely be good. If I do a 10-point trade on this. Oh, brother, a 10-point trade. I could do one contract, so I have the most drawdown. but then I need it to go the most distance. I don't know. I'm torn on this one, team. If I do it, which way do I want to do it? How do I want to play it? What's the vibe? Is it finally taking a breather? Do I just... I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know how I want to play this one. Hold on till the market calms down a little bit. Market's pretty calm right here. I guess I was watching this 50. Is it going to crack this? We see people in at 50. It just knocked those guys out. We're coming down to 40 pretty rapidly. What is this? It's 32.
Order filled.
All right. Do I like this trade or not? Oh, brother. Let's go to the 100 tick. Actually, am I doing my math wrong? That's 185. I might be able to... it might not matter. I'm going to drop it to 159 just in case people are at it. But according to Bookmap, there's not much above my head here. I'm just trying to not play the $10 level just in case something weird happens. Oddly enough, I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I wonder if I could just do a quick little short breakdown. But then I was like, no, be disciplined. The trend of the day is obviously up. You shouldn't be shorting, even if it's for a little scalp. And that actually would have worked perfectly fine. I think my math is right that if all this hits, I'll pass the Tradeify accounts. And if it takes out this 56 level, 56.25, this previous high.
Order filled.
All right, didn't even have the time. All right, so I think I should be good. 172, 177, 175, 192, 176. So I think I'm actually good. I think I'm actually good now. Yeah, that already updated. Sweet. So I fixed the consistency. So I passed all 5: active, profit target, consistency. And then just when the system updates at some point today, it will let me upgrade all these to funded accounts. So that was a little bit of a risk, but hey, it worked. It worked. So obviously we will be trading on funded Tradeify accounts tomorrow. And shout out to Tradeify, code Goonie, 40% off. If you buy the bundles of 5, you can get a bigger discount. And it looks, did I like top tick that exit? I did top tick that exit. Look at that. I got out at 59. It got to just above 60 and then dumped anyway. So maybe that's a good sign that I'm overstaying my welcome. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pass all 5 Tradeifys. On the MFFs, technically I hit the profit target, but I didn't realize the consistency changed. So I need to run these up to 55,000. So I have about 1.4K to go. I might trade on these today if I see an opportunity. I need to do a little scalp trade on take profit. And then these other take profits, I guess I was already trading on. So made 600. These are funded. The Lucids are funded. So that's good. Made 600 there. So up, I guess I made 400 yesterday because I'm up 1,000. So, okay, we're slowly going in the right direction. I'm seeing green. I'm liking it. Are there prop accounts for options trading? Yeah, the best one's called Vanquish. Code Goonie will get you the best deal there as well. And we commonly on Fridays raffle off Vanquish accounts and some futures accounts. But Vanquish is for SIMDA funded options trading. Okay, so to not accidentally do something stupid, I'm going to disconnect the Tradeifys. I don't want to trade on the accounts that I'm actually good on. That would be incredibly silly. So disconnecting these, but did pass them. And I'm sure the Tradeify system will update momentarily, and we'll trade on those funded ones tomorrow. So those are good. I thought the MFFs were good because I had 2 days back to back at 1,500, but that was too much. I should have gone for just below, apparently 1,000. And today would have almost been somewhat good, but need to trade a little bit more there. I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, I could just call it. Well, no, I don't have to call it. It's just more of, is the opportunity there? Like, we're just not. Look at it's just another one right here. We popped up, went sideways, popped up, went sideways, popped up, went sideways, popped up, went sideways. We're just getting all of these shelves time and time again right there. Another shelf. Pop up here, another shelf. Like, it's just, we're doing this like stair step pattern that, I mean, eventually you'd think something has to change, but until that moment, all we can do is play these levels realistically. Huge amount of support in the zone. It's just like these overlapping steps, pop up, flat, pop up, flat, pop up, flat. This whole zone, and it's huge too. You're basically, it's 100 point of support. Now, if we somehow go through that, I actually would not mind a dip buy at 30,000, 30,000 flat at all. I actually would really like this zone, but I don't know if we're going to be returning there today. That's a lot of different levels of support it would have to crack through. It could happen, especially like a random Trump update or some shit like that, but I don't know. I don't know about that one there, Tonto. I don't know about that one there. All right. Don't forget about Tradeify. Use that code Goonie. Let's look into spot gamma. What are we seeing? I mean, still technically range. We just got caught up in this chop. Honestly, this kind of, it's not the most out of pocket thing to say that we might just be kind of stuck here now. Pop up and then just get caught up in this positive gamma from 815 to 7795. I mean, this might be one of those days that we close right at 7,800. What is the charm pressure looking like? Yeah, charm pressure in terms of the close levels right now is calling out either 7,800 or 7,820. I think those are like realistic levels that as of now, the market is calling for that as the close. This delta pressure, 7,800. Yeah, that's all reasonable. We'll see. Obviously, 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute bullish. 1 minute is cracking on ES, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute bullish. So this, in my mind, I'm still in the mode of buying the dips. I don't really like chasing in one direction or the other, but momentum is incredibly strong on the 5, the 10, and the 30. The SPY was strong. It is now turning since 10:30. People are selling their calls into this. I guess they're deciding that they wanted it to stay above 7,800, but starting at 735, there's definitely some call selling starting to occur. Mag 7 is still strong. NASDAQ, same thing. Things turned a little bit at 1035. A little bit at 1035. Are we just bouncing off of this zone right here? It's just tough because you could try this bounce, but then if it keeps going, you're like, well, then here's the zone, and then here's the zone. So before you know it, you could reasonably try to rip the long here at 217, but then you have reason to think that it could bounce all the way down to like 118. It's quite an interesting setup today. And even that, the bounce back, like, what are you going to do? Bounce it to 250? You're playing 215 to 250? Like, it's just a very weird setup today. A very, very strange setup. Can it go back to VWAP? It could do that. I think it's more likely that VWAP just aggressively trend up until it's at our value. But because remember, VWAP is changing in itself. So as people continue to trade, the average is also going to be altered. So if they keep trading up here, the average will naturally increase. We're going up. Don't stand on front of this train. Don't stand on what? We're going up. Don't stand on front if this train. It's like you have a statement and questions all together, all bundled as one. The point of control is now right actually where we bounce the low 200s. VWAP, is that right? 30,021, that's really far away. Really far away. We'll see. We'll see what it wants to do here. Does it actually want to bounce, or is it going to come right in? I might just call it here. I might just keep my money. Got lucky enough. Had to do some weird stuff there with these MFFs are going to piss me off. I can make another 1,100. I still have to keep my max at 1,500, and then that will bring me close, and then hopefully I could pass those tomorrow. I need a scalp trade on this TPT account. Where is that TPT account? What is this one? 463. 463. We're gonna do 1. Okay.
Order filled.
All right, that was easy enough. So I did my scalp trade and made my $50 there. That was easy. What else? What else? What else? What else? That kind of might be it, team. That kind of might be it, team. I did the only thing I don't even really want to trade these Lucids because they're funded. We're looking good, up a K. Like, why do anything? I could trade these TPTs. These are evals, but whatever. I could save them for tomorrow. Like, my only thought is, I guess on the TPTs, on the MFFs, like I could try to go for another trade, but I guess I'm just going to wait to make sure there's like an actual setup that I like. What am I trading? The NQ futures contract, the futures contract for the NASDAQ, the futures contract for NDX, the futures contract for QQQ. Just trading NQ, which is the name of the futures contract. So trading the NASDAQ 100, but on the futures market. So QQQ is on the equities market. It's the ETF, but it's tracking the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is technically NDX. This is the actual NASDAQ 100. So I'm just trading it, but on the futures market. Is it gonna? We're kind of coming into some support. I don't know. Is it gonna start to? This is just such a bullshit region to try to play. What do we have here? It's kind of cracking it a little. This is the point of control 206. I wonder if it's going to bounce right off of this. We'll see. I guess if it does, that's not the most insane trade in the world. There's definitely been nuttier trades that we've done. Doesn't want to bounce right off this. Watching this huge amount of trading. Are people going to react to it? Is anyone going long here? I guess we didn't technically touch it yet. How's the flow looking? This might be, I mean, we're not dipping much today. It could be a bounce off of 800. Fuck it.
Order filled.
Win in Rome. All right. What is the distance of this move? 50% brings us to 238. 238 will be my first target. And then what's the current high? 67.50. So we'll do 64. All right. So I'm splitting my order up. I'm looking for 37.50, looking for basically a 50% recovery on this movement right there, 37.75. Mine's at 37.50. And then the high 67.50. I'm front running it by a couple points, running it at 64. So trying to scale out at a 50% bounce of this range and trying to scale out at the full, basically a push to the intraday high. Couple things coming together. It's just low risk, low reward. SPX is at 800. If buyers step in, great. I took on minimal risk because my risk was only this recent low, and it can go from there. On NDX, on NQ, I see that we dipped right into the zone where it was shopping before. So it's just minimal risk, higher reward. Does it always work? No, but even if it works 50-50, the fact that you're going for more reward than your risk, obviously, anyone with a slight understanding of math would understand that you're going to be long. You're going to be net profitable with that methodology. The trick is to keep your sizing in control and keep your risk management in control, as in don't do one of those things where you're like, oh, I'm going to give it a little bit more room. And then before you know it, runs like hundreds and hundreds of points against you. What am I long at? I'm long at 27. Long at, oh, it just got smacked a little. I was long on this breakout or this attempted recovery right here at 10.52. So I was hoping it would go all the way up. I like this. I'm trying to scale it. Yeah. So this is what I was seeing when I went long right here. Pop up. I saw these sellers got absorbed. I saw we're at the point of control. I saw we had this zone coming up. So it felt like not that much risk. And hopefully it works. Hopefully it works. Like I said, 37.50. So I'm long at 27, looking for 37.50, looking for 64. That's 39. Yeah, I like this. We'll see. We'll see. Matt, what would cause this day gain? What? Matt, what would cause this day gain spies 740, 640, 18% day loss, SPX? You're asking what is the difference between SPX and SPY? Because those aren't maybe necessarily equivalent levels. Why is SPX losing and SPY winning big? Because you probably played it in opposite directions. You probably set it up improperly. On one of them that you probably thought you went long, you probably went short. For one to be up and one to be down when you're playing puts that are roughly the same levels, it most likely means you inverted the play. The SPY is an ETF meant to track the SPX. The prices aren't really that far off from each other in terms of percentage moves. So the only thing that could explain one going up and one going down when you're basically playing the same thing is you set up the play wrong. If I had to guess. Whatever the explanation, it's going to be one of those like no duh type of moments for sure. Okay, where are we at? 1 minute crack, but SPX is right at that 800. I'm looking forward to at least retest 804. Actually, I'd like the retest of 807. So it's right at 800. Let's see who wins it. But this is kind of the first reasonable potential dip buy. I don't know if it's going to work, but we really just have not dipped much today. Same thing here on the one. This is the first time we're touching the 50 EMA. Of course, it could slice through, but it's just the first like actual dip we're seeing in the market. Right into this, but that's the issue is it could dip to 172. It could dip to 140. RTH VWAP is 130, which is like kind of here. We have the 100. I don't know. It's still a reasonable dip by all the way down here. I like the idea of it bouncing off the 1 minute 50 EMA. It needs to take out 28. Do I need to update? I do need to update. Hang on. What's my new 50% goal? 3350. All right. So we're going to move that one to 34. Like I said, I'm just trying to, on the first scale out, I'm trying to play whatever the size of this cell is. I'm trying to play to the 50% retracement. Can VIX affect SPX over SPY? Absolutely not. That makes no sense. SPY is the ETF created to track SPX. They're the same thing. I'm telling you, man, whatever your issue is, it's something basic. Like, it's literally just how you set it up. When you figure out what it is, you're going to be like, oh, duh, that makes sense. But we don't live in a world in which you have SPY, SPX position that is roughly the same, as in roughly the same levels, and they go in completely opposite directions. They're inherently the same thing. SPY is tracking SPX. So, oh, what the fuck was that? Is it not going to hold this zone? Doesn't seem it. It's just battling it out at 200. I promise you, the explanation is not some complicated math thing. It's going to be more of a simple, most likely positional setup. Qs correlate with NQ. Well, yeah. It's the same thing here. The way SPY is created to track SPX. So SPX is the actual S&P 500. This thing right here is the actual S&P 500. SPY is an exchange traded fund, an ETF right here, ETF trust, created to track it. And then obviously on the futures market, you could trade ES, and ES is tracking the S&P 500 as well. So that's all true for the S&P 500. The same thing is true in the NASDAQ. NDX is the actual index. QQQ is the ETF created to track it, and there's many ETFs created to track it. Same thing with the SPY. And then NQ is the futures contract. So they all have a major indice, and then they have various ETFs tracking it, and then they also have their own futures contract tracking it. I think he's saying the VIX drop, but SPX market drop, when usually if the VIX is up, market comes down some weird day. No, not at all. He literally asked if the VIX impacts SPX, but not SPY. It impacts them both equally because they're the same thing. Do I need to redraw my NQ thing here? Or should I just keep that initial target? 40. You know what? We're going to put this at third back. We're going to 39. So I'm trying to scale out at 39 and 64, and I'm long at 27. I bet he's using trading view account and view SPX and the data is delayed. No, he's talking about positions, that he did one position on SPX and one position on SPY. And there's a difference in how those positions are doing, which is telling me that the positions are not comparable positions. Okay. And we are seeing if we can bounce out of the first zone of support, but then there's one right below it and then the one below it. I like this first one because it's the 1 minute 50 EMA. And I think there's some interesting opportunities to play that. Oh, fuck. I never posted that. Okay. Well, it was 2 minutes late, but yeah, that's right. Okay. If you're in the Discord, I updated all my swing plays. That's posted. And if you're in the Discord, the Piper bot just fired. And also if you're in the Discord, all of the stats related to the S&P 500 posted and all the stats related to the NASDAQ posted for the day. And then for you guys in stream, like I said, I am long. I'm break even right now. I'm long 10 at 27, trying to get out at 39, which is also the IB high. I guess I'm technically front running it by 2 ticks. And then I'm front running the intraday high. That one might not stay in terms of my actual plan here. Not liking how this is getting smacked. So before we had an established high between 1050 and 1056, we wick. This one overshot it and quickly got smacked. Not a fan of that. Doesn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside for this particular trade. But I do like that it bounced off of 200. Okay, so it was a little fake out low, engulfing par. That's generally a bullish when you snap a previous low and then it fully engulfs. Like right here, I find this 1101 bar to be very interesting because it snapped the previous lows, went into a zone of support, and then there was so much buying that it actually was bullish engulfing. So we went below and recovered fully. I'm really surprised there wasn't follow through on this one because this punctured it. So we had a fake out breakdown low, now a fake out breakout high. Not good. Not good. And now we're right into this zone. And then we have 3 of these. Jesus, what a setup. What a bullshit setup. Point of control is 206. And we're at 200 now. We just ran into a... Why is this not coming up? Buy wall right there. Someone bought at 197. So they had a pending order just below the 200 psychological level. So quite a bit of a battle going on here in the low 200s. We popped up tons of choppiness, big orders all over. Bulls won, we popped. You could argue it's a fake out breakout because we're right back down to this level. I wouldn't really say it's a full-on fake out breakout unless this like actually collapses. This could just be a double, like it's a double test maybe. But I see someone had a resting buy order and bought at 197. So someone threw size in to try to, I guess, triple bottom this one. Very interesting zone. Huge fight here. Lots of carnage. Bulls ended up winning. Didn't have the follow through. And we're right back to that initial battlefield. And even now in real time, there's a big buy order, big sell order. Golly. Well, you guys know I'm long. You know my bias is long. The Discord knows all my new plays. So that's a wrap there. Hang on. You guys sent in some DMs. Oh, this is what we were talking about before. Where was this one? Gen Z is moving money from stocks to sports betting in wealth plans. 52% of them have redirected their funds to sports betting, and a quarter of them treat sports betting as a deliberate part of their long-term financial plan. That is a horrible update. That is not going to go well. Sports betting competes with investing for Gen Z dollars. Line between investing and gambling gets blurred for young Americans. That's crazy. So before, when we were talking about who's like the most degen about it, boomers not at all, Gen X a little bit more. Then millennials were the first ones who were like, that's a little bit degenerate. And now Gen Z, that's not good. They're double the overall average. Oh, brother. Robert, a 32-year-old from Huntington, New York, has a Robinhood account for stock trading, but this year has put more energy into betting. He says he applies the logic of investing to sports betting. He approaches it with caution rather than emotion, does research before placing bets, and his only wagers $100 at a time. He understands that he's gambling. I think I'm just smarter about it. And he said, I'm not just doing it as a hobby. This year, he's made roughly $2,500 on bets. I booked a whole vacation thanks to the Carolina Hurricanes this year, which sounds insane to say out loud. Jesus Louises. President Trump is being sued over Truth Social's new service selling early access for his posts. If you guys don't know what this is, it's called Truth API. And basically for up to $100,000 a month, which is the fee, you could pay that and you'll get his Truth Socials before anyone else. And obviously they can be very market moving.
Yeah, so True Social is going to argue that they're a public company and that the benefit to the president is attenuated because it only comes back to him, as a shareholder. But the in terms of your point about it being a small amount of money, there is no de minimis exception. Once the president makes a statement available on social media, the courts, including the Supreme Court, have said that's a public record and it should be made available to the public in a manner consistent with the Constitution. And so here, the argument is that the First and Fifth Amendments of the Constitution prevent, unless there's a legitimate government purpose, the president or his designees from restricting access. Yeah, so True Social is going to argue that they're
I don't know how we live in the world that we do, but this whole True Social API thing, I get that everyone is selling their data, but just something about it feels so crazy. So crazy. Tom Lee just dropped one of his biggest calls yet. Well, he's a permabull, and I agree with him on pretty much everything except for Ethereum, but let's see what he has to say.
So what is your forecast for the next 2 years, and what's it based on?
Well, I think a couple things are coming together, Joe, that are going to really support a few things that may only happen like once in our lifetime. One is I think the U.S. economic growth rate is actually starting to step up. In other words, we could grow at 4%, and for a mature, largest economy in the world to start to accelerate growth, that's pretty astounding. The second is the U.S. is one of the biggest exporters of the most important tool in the next 10, 15 years, which is AI products. And that means we are a net, essentially, exporter of a high-value product. And there's so much capital, I think, misallocated today because so much of it is held in private alternatives, but it's going to move into the public market. So I do think that, plus the demographic tailwind of millennials and Gen Z adding to the workforce, but then also beginning to inherit generational wealth. I think that is going to set up for after 2026, perhaps, over the next 2 years, some of the biggest gains of the stock market in our lifetime.
Huh. Interesting reasoning. I haven't necessarily heard it explained that way. I'm curious to know if he's going to end up being right or wrong, of course. Stock market predictions are incredibly easy in hindsight, incredibly difficult when you're in real time. He's been right on things. He's been wrong on things. This is Tom Lee of Fundstrat, but reasoning is what I kind of am interested in. And I think it's at least minimal something to consider, but basically saying post this year, we actually might just be starting this bull market run. Interesting. Very interesting.
So what is your
how's my stuff doing? SPX. I'm still in this trade. Wow, that was a lot of selling. That smacked it. So aggressive buying saved us, and then this got completely absorbed and couldn't wick higher. That was legit selling. I need this back above 31. What's this high? Actually, what's this 45 to 37. So basically, I just need it to get above and hold above 40. I'm seeing kind of this interesting transition point, and I think that'll be a test, which is exactly why I'm trying to scale out of some of my position just in case that test fails. Just in case that test fails. And then I need to, I was never risking that much all the way down there. I just want to update these just in case. So, and that 40 level, not only are we seeing interesting from a order flow perspective, but also it's the IB high. So I think that's another good reason why I should be scaling out half my position there. You know, I fought it for the longest time. I really did. But I'm actually loving this cross trading from NQ to MNQ. I'm loving it. Because before I was trading a NQ, so I didn't have the ability to scale. I couldn't scale in or out because the biggest I could trade was one NQ. Because whenever I started to trade two, it got really degenerate really, really fast. So now instead of doing 1 NQ, I'm trading the equivalent of MNQ, which is 10, because 10 MNQ equals a NQ. And I fought it for the longest time, but this ability to be able to scale in and scale out is amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Someone said Micron's doing crazy things. Well, that's good, because I just told the Discord like an hour ago that I'm looking at calls on it. So I'm stoked about that. I hope I got a fill on it. I had a pending order. If this went without me and I didn't get my fill, okay, I did get my fill. Holy shit. I'm already up 40% on it. What the fuck? I literally just got this play today. Micron is crazy. I just got it today. Posted in the Discord, and it's a long, like I'm playing it for some distance too, and it's September 18th, and I'm already up 39%. That's crazy. Hey, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. Piper, did you see that? I did a play right, Piper. High five. Pound it. You want to give me some paw? All right. Well, you guys know my plan. You know what's going on. You know how I see things. You know how I feel things. Made some money today. I'm in a live trade. I'm going to go finish this up in the Discord, but more importantly, I'm going to get myself mentally. I see some sellers at 30. What a pain in my ass. More importantly, I'm going to get myself mentally prepared to get ready for the dentist and get a cleaning. Dude, I hate the dentist. I hate the dentist. I never, ever have a good time. It's always uniquely a bad time. I don't know whoever would want to be a dentist. I don't know who enjoys going to the dentist, but the entire industry feels like a giant scam because of how bad of a time I have. So I need to go do some mental prep work for that type of stuff. But other than that, thus far, a very, very bullish day. New record highs in the S&P 500. Not record highs in the NASDAQ, but we're not also that far away. It's kind of crushing it. Got out of those puts. We didn't get the downside gap fill. Just the market is way too strong with these inflation reports coming in at expectations and lower than expected. So got out of those, punted it to some calls, and already made back almost all of that money. So that's pretty sick. Trying to think of anything else. Do you have anything to say, Piper? Anything to say? Oh, yeah. Piper wanted you guys to know that shout out to Tradeify. Obviously, use that code Goonie, 40% off. But if you do the bundles of 5, you can get 45% off. So you can get rocking with the 50K accounts for less than $100, no activation fee. And was able to pass those today. So we'll be trading on some of those funded Tradeifys tomorrow. Other than that, I appreciate all the good vibes. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope you made a buttload of money. And if you did it, I hope you still do in the remainder of the day. And if not, there's always tomorrow. Stick to your trading plan. Stick to your risk management. And other than that, I hope you are as lucky as could be. I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. Peace.